What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Brees, and
You're
we're at the. Yeah, you see, you try to steal my intro. We're at the Red Couch today. We're not at What's Cookin Studios today. We're at the Red Couch today because I'm here with a face that should have been up here since day one. The person that put all of this together. What's Cookin, the Red Couch Show, Otherside Podcast for those of y'all that's in tune. And I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr.
Ross T.
Ross T. Yes, so this is an episode that, again, should have been done since a year ago. And this is the guy that's been doing all the work behind the scenes, the editing, of course, the production all around, the lights, everything. And, definitely got to say thank you, give you your flowers there. Because, without you, a lot of this wouldn't have been possible, right? So, backtrack on how me and Ross met. This is a very touch episode. I feel it in my heart. But backtrack how we met. I was actually watching his podcast, the Otherside Podcast, and I followed it. I showed a lot of support, a lot of love and whatnot. And when studio was up for grabs, I was the first person to say, hey, I want to come film here. So after that, me and Ross, we've been locked in since. We've made magic happen, as y'all see. And yeah, it's only going to the top. We're only getting better as the days go on. So
And
Ross,
shout out Kwani and Krill.
of course, shout out Kwani for
You
sure.
know the other side guys.
Mm-hmm. But who was the other one?
Krill, he was the editor.
Oh,
He's
he was
what
the
I
editor?
do
Okay.
for you guys. Yeah, I met him at NYU. When I got the studio, he was like my partner.
Okay, so
With
how long have you had this studio for?
The studio since COVID, so 3.5 years.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was way beyond that.
You thought longer?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
That's
Nah,
crazy.
I got it when I was young. Quickly, the story is the way that the studio came about. I was a freshman in college.
Mhm.
And then like March of my freshman year, COVID happened, and then we got sent home, and we were told that we'd be in lockdown for the next year or so.
Mhm.
So I didn't know what to do with myself. And then over the summer, I had an idea of starting a podcast because I saw the New York drill scene was emerging, and this was, mind you, like 2020, like Chef and 22Gs, and I guess like Sleepy wasn't even as big as Chef, but like those were like the biggest players even before Pop Smoke was lit. And like I saw how
Pop
many.
was just coming up at that time.
What happened?
I think he was just.
He was
up
just
at-
coming up, but like he wasn't as big as the
No,
other
I
guys.
see what you mean. Yeah.
Like
No,
Dior
he
hadn't
was-
come
he was-
out yet, and
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the Party, I think, or maybe that summer. I don't know, but I think like Chef was the biggest, like even bigger than Fabio.
No, Fabio definitely wasn't up there yet.
Yeah, but I saw that they were doing crazy numbers, and it was a whole scene that I'd never heard of before. And I had so much time in my hands, and I was like going to school for music business. It just like everything seemed to make sense. So I went to my parents and went and asked my friend to do the same, and was because we were planning on like living together, like NYU housing, whatever. And we asked our parents, and it was still like cheaper than living in Manhattan. Like, can we get a studio space and start a podcast? And then we ended up finding this space, which was like a pretty big space. You can do a lot with it for relatively cheap. So then we also had an idea of making it to a recording studio. And the idea was like invite the guests on and say like, we'll give you free recording time as well.
So you put incentive behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we were kind of like nobody. Wasn't really like a smart business plan at first because like when were we gonna monetize? Like who are we gonna charge and when?
I mean, for the views out there, it's like I feel like it was worth the investment.
Dude, the first video we dropped, we got like there was with Nas Blicky.
You definitely did over like.
It was like
you definitely
60K
did
views,
Six
something
figures
like
on
that.
that.
Yeah, maybe by
I
now.
think you're
don't
like
even know.
over 100K on that.
Yeah,
right now.
on all platforms, definitely. But I had no idea what I was doing. Like I was not ready to be a business owner, like a brick and mortar studio owner. But I've been learning. It's been good. Good
Yeah.
grind. And then after like a year and a half or whatever, stopped that. You hit me up, and like that for me, like kept me like it excited me because I knew that the Otherside Podcast was coming to an end. I was gonna go on and do like my own music and everything, but I was excited when you hit me up because like I enjoy the editing and the production of a podcast and seeing it through. It's still like a very new technology and like a new like medium of communication, and I think it's still really untapped. Even though everybody's like doing a podcast these days, I think a lot of people don't like. A lot of people are doing it, but not a lot of people are doing it well. And I think at first, I think both of us didn't know what we were doing. I think you've gotten so much better as like a host and as like an owner of a podcast. You know what I mean? Like people don't know you don't like you have. I won't get into it, but you're doing like I think you. And it takes time, it takes experience, but you've gotten smarter at like being a podcast host, which is cool. And if there's one thing I've learned, like it takes time.
Definitely.
But yeah, ask me your questions. So that's my story.
Ask me
now we're on the red couch. That's the new exciting thing.
Couch, yeah. Yeah, because it's like for me too, it's like, you know, like you said, for you it's more so it's like, it kind of gave you purpose at that, I would say. That's my input on that. I feel like realizing that there was people out there I was really, like it's one thing you see the numbers, it's like, okay, this many people watch me, but it's another thing when people actually, you know, reaching out and showing you, hey, you know, I really appreciate what you're doing. I really respect what you're doing. You know, I really support and follow what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that was probably that moment for you where you're like, damn, this is really worth something. And I feel like, you know, that's the beauty I found in my platform too. It's like, it's one thing that I'm giving people exposure. It's another thing where I'm seeing how people use the exposure, how people network, how people take advantage of the content and, you know, push themselves out even more compared to how they probably were before.
For sure.
And even for some businesses too, it's just like you said, they probably, like in our case, we didn't know what we were doing. They probably didn't know what they were doing as well. It's like having a platform that allowed them to really be vulnerable and say, hey guys, this is me, the real me, this is what I do. And this is what you could learn from my experiences, the good and the bad, really is what this platform's all about, just highlighting that and showing people like, you know, this is real life. This is what really goes into it. This is not just the money and the flashy stuff you see on social media. Like, there's going to be challenges that come with it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
that was actually the whole concept of the other side. Like, show the other side. It was like a lot of rappers, a lot of like, you know, flashy things. Also, a lot of rap, like where I'm from, a lot of rappers have a certain stigma, which isn't like particular. Like if you're a kid, it's cool, but if you're a parent, it's like don't listen to that music. So I, you know, people are multifaceted. So the idea was to like have a hour-long conversation with them, which, like I said, podcasting is very new. Like that wasn't really a thing. Like as far as I know, we don't have hour-long conversations with Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Or maybe we do, but the goal was to like get to know the other side.
More radio shows back then.
What happened?
More radio shows back then.
Yeah. Radio shows with like the PR in the back room controlling the questions and manipulating the editing. Like this is so much more real. You can genuinely get a feel for who the person sitting across from you is. And when I was doing my podcast, I would at the end of it some of them be like not that impressed and be like, I'll probably never talk to you again, but like thank you for your time and coming in. And then some I was like totally moved and I was like, I want to, you know, turn this into a relationship, and like I would listen to the podcast back if it was educational. It was, yeah.
Who do you feel like was that guest for you? Were you like, yeah, like I didn't think this was you? If you could name one, it doesn't have to be the one, but if you could just name the first person off the top of your head that you're like, yeah.
Well, I would say the one who, like, there was this dude, MIS Ron, who like was like 20 years old, but he was so wise and articulate. And
yeah, he did do well.
Yeah, and he had like these one-liners that were so like they hit home. And I left that one like very impressed.
Yeah, I seen he vlogged it too.
Yeah, he vlogged it too. Yeah, that's crazy because this was all a couple of years ago.
Because it shows you how serious he took it.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought the Hirsch Mills one was good too. I like that one.
Yeah,
and he put that clip. You and Kwani put that clip in his outro on one of his songs.
He did?
Yeah, I forgot which. I
think
me
and him talking.
Yeah, the autopilot mixtape.
No
I
way.
Think, like the last song, I think it was the last song or one of those songs.
No way, I didn't even know that.
He put you guys on the outro.
Really? Was it us gassing him up?
Basically,
yeah. I think I remember that.
No, it was like
he had a good like aura.
You guys were saying he was like very mature and whatnot, and you know, just saying like he's really.
Damn, that's pretty funny. I had
no
artist. Idea.
Yeah, I could probably send it to you one day when I run it back and whatnot.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's just like it's interesting to see how like, you know, it's really a full circle moment. It's like I went from watching you guys on YouTube, never met y'all a day in my life, I'm sitting with you here. You know, we're talking about the experience and, you know, the journey that it's been for both of us in terms of working together and, of course,
Who would've
working
thought?
separately on our own thing. No, I would have thought because I thought so a year ago. Yeah, so like let's dive into the Red Couch though. So it's like, you know, even though you took a step away from the podcasting scene and whatnot, and you focus more on the music side, I feel like, you know, the Red Couch allowed you to kind of step back into that scene, but also still focus on what you wanted to do. So what kind of got you to start the Red Couch? And for the audience that don't know what the Red Couch is about, you could just briefly tell them like what the Red Couch is in terms of what his episode is like and stuff like that.
So the Red Couch is a live performance platform. Obviously, everybody compares us to Tiny Desk, which Tiny Desk.
Tiny
You ever
Desk?
heard of them? NPR, Tiny Desk.
I gotta check them out.
It's like a YouTube channel that artists come to an office space and they perform live, and it's recorded and then released like on YouTube. So we're releasing like similar content to that, but with like a new young approach. What were some of your questions?
No, I was asking in terms of like what was the purpose like that
Why did I start it? Well, there's a personal level and like a business answer. As far as the business one, which I have so much. Like it was really like meditated. Like I really thought about it for a while because I had done the podcast. I was producing a couple other podcasts. I was doing my own music. I had done enough businesses and failed and experimented to have that level of like criticism, like self-criticism. Like you know what I mean? Like I really analyzed before I wanted to like spend all this time and resources into it. But I think, and I still feel this way, that aside from the hip hop scene, every other genre of music, like every other niche and sound and community is not being tapped into enough on the digital platforms.
Okay.
Like all of the infrastructure belongs to the radio stations and the record labels and the magazines and like the blogs and stuff, but they're not, in my opinion, like adapting and changing with the times. And so I think that has left like a big gap in the market for anybody who has a couple $1,000s and some friends to start platforms. And like, I think this is like going to be a huge opportunity. And I think Red Couch is kind of one of the first of many to come, whether it's a pop or indie or alternative or heavy metal or rock, whether it's a live performance platform or a podcast platform. Like, I think as the industry, like, I think there'll always be those icon artists, but I think like the market share of smaller artists is increasing and the top 100 artists' market share is decreasing. Like it's being more democratized because everybody has access to make music and release music. It wasn't always like that. So I think that the communities like Red Couch is forming are a lot more are gonna start to develop, which is what we're doing. So coming from like the hip hop space with the podcast and everything, like there's a bunch of podcasts I can name and a bunch of live freestyle like platforms. Like how many like hanging mic platforms have you seen? There's like a million of them.
Yeah, we were just talking about that on the last episode just now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good. It's like I think what it is hip hop community. Like they're very entrepreneurial and very like self-starter and have that agency. I think for whatever reason the other genres don't have that, but I think I have that. And so I applied kind of like that hustler mentality to a different lane, which is whatever you'd want to call this. It's definitely more acoustic, more indie. It's more intimate. So it's not like heavy metal. It's not crazy 808s. It's more, you know what I mean? It's more like intimate.
Yeah, you got the guitar here. You got the drums.
Yeah, for sure. And like we're really tapping into the New York indie band scene, which definitely exists, but it hasn't, in my opinion, no one's done a good job of like forming it. You know what I mean? Which I think we're doing and no one else is doing, in my opinion. And I really like the funny thing is I've been telling people like the last 2 years, like the problem is it takes a lot to like get a space and to get all like the camera and audio equipment and the team and everything. But I've been saying for years, like Tiny Desk is the only one who's doing it well. And they've been doing it for 15 years. They've been on top.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, why isn't anybody else doing a live performance platform? Just invite artists to come and play their music, and put it on YouTube and Instagram, and just reach out to lit artists and say you're going to do it for free, and they're going to say yes because it's free promo.
You know what? I can answer that for you because people overthink things.
That's so true.
Like when you look at fashion, like people overthink. Like when it comes to designing logos and stuff, people think they have to have the most flashiest logo. And it's like
So
the
true.
big end brands, the high end brands that they buy from all have simple logos. It's just regular font, the name, and that's it. And it's like, from this aspect, it's like you said, why is Tiny Desk the only one doing it? Because, like you said earlier, people think they have to have a hanging mic here. And
Bro.
they kind of have to be innovative, but they're being innovative based off of what the last person did as opposed to being innovative and saying, what has no one else done? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. I think, like, if you overthink, you're an overthinker, which I won't label myself as, but I do it from time to time. Like, you'll never get anything done. Like, you won't make a decision. For example, like, there's a million changes I can make to this set.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely the furniture, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
probably certain things that you probably like. I don't like this one.
A million, bro.
I don't like
So
this lamp. I probably got this in a different color or something like that.
yeah. So the story with this set is, I don't know if I've told you, it comes all from my grandma's house in Queens. Like,
That's actually when you said when you asked me to repeat what I asked, like before we start recording, that was actually what I was gonna ask you. Like,
where does this
Like
set
the-
come
yeah.
from? Yeah. Which is a cool story. And people feel the aura. Like they feel, it feels very cozy and hospitable. And that's how it felt going into my grandma's house. And the reason why they feel that way is because I literally the house is for sale, so I didn't steal it. And my grandma passed away, rest in peace. But so it was up for grabs. So I took like things in her house, obviously with permission, and like now this feels like her living room. Yeah, where was I going with that?
I mean,
Yeah. So when I went to
I
went to my grandma's house, and there was a million things that all were perfect for on camera. Like this would look great. But we're only working with like 30 square feet or something just like horrible like that. So we had to make decisions, and yeah. And what is that quote? It's like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good or something like that.
never heard that one.
Like don't if you try to be perfectionist, you're gonna get in your own way. Like you don't need to be perfect. Like nothing that's ever been done is perfect. There's no such thing, unless you're religious and like Jesus was perfect. That's don't. And like nothing that we can do is perfect. It's only like better than the rest. You know what I mean? So and there's things you can do, like actions that you can take to ensure that you're better than your competition, like you're better than the rest, but it'll never be perfect.
Right.
So that's another thing I've learned, like really trying to stay in my own lane and stop like watching other people and other platforms. Like when I was getting this thing started, I was researching every other platform, especially Tiny Desk. And now it's like I've embraced Red Couch for what it is as its own platform, and like not really caring what everyone else is doing. Like appreciating it and taking notes, but just like not allowing it to get too like, be influenced too much by it.
Right. Yeah. So going off of just what you said, you said earlier, you said something about being more like, you said. Well, I mean, I heard the word Democrat in it. What word did you say? You said
Democratize,
right? And I actually do like the fact that you point that out because that's something I wanted to go off of. Because you remember I had my guest True.
True Vinci, yeah.
He's good friends with a certain artist. I won't say his name because apparently this is a label secret. But he was saying like the secret to getting on the mainstream level. This is what he told him. Secret getting on the mainstream level is more so being outside with the people. And what do I mean by that? It's like labels like to see when, it sounds ignorant to say, but labels like to see when, you're that artist that pulls up 30 deep and everybody's,
Yeah.
just wilding out, acting ratchet, stuff like that. They like to see that because it shows that, okay, the people are with them, right? Like everybody supports this type of activity. Everybody supports this vibe, this persona or whatnot. And it's like, I always I shouldn't say always, but I recently started referencing a lot of Sexy Red with that because it's like, this is like, even though she comes off very ghetto and ratchet stuff like that, this is what the people like to see. This is what's entertaining and whatnot.
Right.
And it's like going back to your point of just just having a platform that really has like a democratized sense to things. It's more so like you could have anybody up here, basically. As long as they fit the criteria, sure. But it's not like one of these platforms where it's like we're kind of gonna be bougie, and if you're not a celebrity, if you're not signed, if you're not doing X amount of streams, you can't be on this platform. And I feel like for On the Radar, that's why they took off so quickly. Yes, they caught a lot of people before they blew up as artists, and they did catch people as they blew up as artists, but they allowed the opportunity to everybody where everybody was like, this is I have to be up here. I have to do these things. Now, salute to them for all their success and whatnot and all that they did. I just hope that, but for me, I just hope that they continue to stick with that that aesthetic of just allowing, allowing a big name artist to be here, and then also allowing like a newfound artist to be here. And I feel like the Red Couch is that type of platform where it's like, again, as long as people fit the criteria, literally any musician could be up here and perform and whatnot. And when people see that, other people see that you're with the people and you're for the people, and not even just other people, but like when big executives and people that might want to sponsor this show and really push that show out there, when they see those things, they say, okay, I could really invest in this guy because for his vision, what he wants to do, we could definitely capitalize on that and have like the whole world supporting and really agreeing with what he has going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I definitely want to tap into beyond the Red Couch studio is also the other, I guess you say, amenities that you have in this studio. So you have the Red Couch, of course. You have our studio, of course, and then you also have the music studio. So talk more about what it's like having the music studio side of things.
Just so you know, we got a 5-minute warning from Jackson. Well, this space, like I said, is like pretty big. So if you've ever been here, like you can kind of tell that it's compartmentalized. So we have a photo studio in the front and like a production studio for ourselves, and as well as like other podcasts and like What's Cookin and a couple others that we produce for. And then we have the recording studio, and then like, an office space in the back, which is like kind of like my room or whatever. The recording studio, like, I would say, the recording studio, it is what it is. There's things that I would have done differently if I had started over again. I would say it's so much easier to market a product and for the product to market itself when the product is exceptional. And you don't need crazy gear. You don't need crazy anything, but it helps. You know what I mean? I would say one thing that like I wish I had done better was work at other studios so I knew what it took to be the best studio if I wanted to be in that business. It's funny, I have a recording studio and like I'm trying to find ways to not be in the recording business anymore because for many reasons. But this studio, it's good, it's fun. Like I think I do a good job and the other engineers do a good job of like being a good host and making it fun, and like people come back consistently for a reason. But we are very limited to like just vocal recording, so we can't have bands. We don't do live instruments for vocal session or for Otherside recording sessions. It's mostly like we don't really do a lot of producer writing sessions. It's mostly like rappers and occasionally like R&B singers, which is cool, but like kind of limits ourselves. Like if I were to do it over again, I would have had investors and had a whole business plan written up and like $250,000 probably invested into it just to get the gear and the infrastructure. The place isn't perfectly soundproofed and everything. So like I have to do a lot more work to get business. And I can't really particularly charge like a high ticket price because I just don't really have the infrastructure for it, which is okay. Like I'm young and I've learned a lot of lessons. Same thing with the photo studio. Like
eventually.
What you say?
And you'll get there eventually.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because I've realized I don't want to be in the recording studio business. Same with like the photo studio business. I want to be in like the digital space business because it has like the highest leverage. And I think there's a million ways that I can monetize an online brand better than I could like a recording studio for many reasons. One being that I can only have one client at a time doing these recording sessions. Whereas I can do one podcast and send it out to 1 billion people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's harder to get there, but I think like I'm young and it's worth going that route because there's a way, way, way higher ceiling, like an infinitely high ceiling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, you know, like I say all the time, you know, millionaires have 7 streams of income, but those 7 streams don't have to be 7 different things. You could have a studio and do 7 different things in that one studio. Have your 7 streams. But lastly, I know because we're short on time, if I could just ask you this one quick question that I've been dying to ask you, right? So you were there for the episode, of course, we did with Jasim, JSDG Beats, and he spoke about what it was like growing up as a musician himself, right? It's like you being someone that studied music, that also was an artist. Well, you're still an artist, and somebody that, of course, you have the red couch situation and whatnot. So if you could speak to the audience on like the significance of being that person that's, you know, behind the scenes as like, you know, the producer, the engineer, but also having that experience of being somebody that's musically talented in terms of like being, like I said, an artist, somebody that played instruments and all that.
I don't play instruments, unfortunately, but I've tried.
But still, as an artist, so like, you know, just being able to
like a performer,
and then working with like a team of people, like, you know, Jackson, he plays the piano and whatnot, like, you know, what is the significance you would say that it holds to be able to have that edge of saying, okay, I know how to play like instruments. I've been an artist myself, so it's like when it comes to being a producer and an engineer, it kind of flows for you. Because I feel like a lot of people, it's like, yeah, they know how to use a computer, they know how to work certain technology, but are they really that good at what they do, if that makes sense? Because they don't really have that experience, if that makes sense.
Like, it's really, and whatever you're doing, like, for example, I'm also, like, I work on the weekends at my cousin's restaurant as a waiter in the summer months, and I love to go to restaurants and take notes about like how the waiters did. And I think when you take notes as the customer, it makes you a better waiter. Similarly, when you are an artist, like first thing I said when I sat down on this couch was like, it's good for me to do this because I get to know the experience and I can like going forward relate better with the guests who will sit on this couch. So if they have a concern with the mic stand, like I'll know where they're coming from. You know what I mean? Which is important. But as far as like the stigma or whatever behind being an artist versus being a producer, like I know a lot of producers don't want to be in the forefront, which is kind of a problem nowadays because whether it's like Metro or Murder on the Beats or like Zaytove or something like that, like they kind of need to be an artist themselves, or like a videographer like Cole Bennett or Drew Filmed It, or you know, a couple other guys. Or you're an artist and you don't want to, like, you want to be like the you know, the face of it all. You want to be the performer. You want to be like the lead guy. I don't really have a preference. Like I find enjoyment and a nice challenge in both. I think it's cool that I've become pretty well rounded. Like I've produced, engineered, been the artist, sang, like done a lot musically, have done a lot video wise. I did my own podcast. I've produced someone else's podcast. So like I would definitely say I've become pretty well rounded in this like content creation and audio and video scene, which is cool. But I think I'm at a point now where I recognize that I need to start delegating, or like just rather like working more with the team and honing my skills on like a few things that I really want to get good at. Like I really want to start. I don't want to start making music again until I know I have the time and like I'm like willing and able to commit to it, because I want it to be super special, which I don't have right now. So I won't really do that much musically. But whether it's my music or whether it's building Red Couch, like I can't shoot it and do the audio at the same time. Like I need an audio engineer, and I can't edit it and also be the one scheduling them. So like I would say, I don't even know if this is answering your question.
Building a team?
Yeah. Like building a team is really important, and knowing what you want to do and also what you're good at and what you don't want to do. And then like just putting all your eggs in those few baskets, and then finding people who are willing to do the other things. Like it's so funny to me. Like video editing's cool, but I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing it. So it's like one of the things I'm experiencing right now is like I'm looking for a couple of video editors, and it's like I almost feel bad. It's like because I don't want to do it. But as Jackson was and other people explained to me, like some people, that's what they sign up for. Like they don't want to be present for the shoots. They don't want to have that face-to-face interaction. I would say they might not want to, but it's good for them and they should, and they'll learn to appreciate it. But regardless, I'm not going to tell people how they want to live their life. So if they want to be the video editor, like I'd have to do a better job of letting them do exactly that. And I think somebody just got here. Is that the guest?
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, so
wrap it up, baby.
Let everybody know how to book you and whatnot. We'll get up out of here because I know you're in a rush right now.
Yes, sir. Red Couch Show on all platforms. We have a show June 1st that will not be, this won't be out by then, but hopefully it went well. Imagine it's like a disaster.
Yeah, but also too, what about
fat lawsuit
like studio session too?
Oh, and then the recording studio is Otherside Studios. The Instagram handle is Otherside Studios _ OthersideNYC.com.
All right.
And then my personal is official Ross T.
Yeah, as you can see, you got the merch too going. But yeah, it's just
like it's sad, bro. I'm pushing 6 different things. I don't like that. I want to push one thing. So if you want to support the Red Couch for now.
And support what's cooking, because just like that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.